Hey everybody, Jeff Freud's here from the Chronicles of Michael Talbot, the podcast. Wanted to give you a brief intro to this week's special edition because I had a chance to not only speak with our favorite author, Mark Tufo, but was joined by After Pulse series narrator, Vikas Adam. This is very cool, and it was awesome for me as a voice narrator myself to speak with somebody else in the field, and he has accomplished so much. I wrote a little bio here that I was going to read at the beginning of the show, but he jumped on and we just started talking. He was so cool and so fun to speak with, and I hope we get a chance to do it again. So here's a little bit of what I wrote. Vikas Adam is a highly accomplished voice actor, audiobook narrator, stage, film, TV actor, and theater lecturer, best known for his prolific work in audiobooks. I said the word right the first time. Educated at Syracuse University, earned an MFA in acting from the UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television. He is a standout in the audiobook industry, having narrated over 600 titles across many genres of fantasy, thrillers, and literary fiction. He's known as a vocal chameleon for his versatility with accents, character voices, including gender shifts. In 2018, he was inducted into Audible's inaugural Narrator Hall of Fame with such greats such as Jim Dale, Alan Cumming, Robin Miles, Scott Brick, and Cassandra Campbell, and a whole bunch of others, and was asked this year to be the host for the 2026 inductees. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is the Chronicles of Michael Talbot, the podcast, with my very special interview with Vikas Adam and Mark Tufo.
It's okay.
It's one of those days. It's one of those days. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself? Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for wanting to do this. This is kind of exciting. With the exception of myself, we've never had a narrator on that has done one of Mark's books.
Oh, wow.
So
you've done Mark's books.
I did every Halloween, or starting back in 2023. Mark does every Halloween. Mark does a free short Halloween story that he releases to his fans.
Oh, wow.
And then when I got into voice acting, I started the podcast in 2023. Mark wrote a story called The Parent Plague specifically for me to do as a narration that we released on the podcast, podcast feed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've done those two stories, and then he's got some short stories that were never released on audio that I just took upon myself and said, hey, I'm going to pirate these and do them as a fan fiction and put them on the podcast page for free. So I've done that myself. So it's been fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. So I'm excited to talk to you because I love this series. This is, I mean, we got a lot to talk about, and Mark's probably going to jump in a little bit later. If he remembers, if he's not working on his R2-D2 droid, which he has been late for interviews with me before, well, he's got a full-size Astromech R2-D2 that he built.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to do an interview with him one time, and he's like, oh, man, I spaced. I got working on R2. I'm sorry. Can we do it now? I'm like, yeah, okay. So I've been sitting there for like a half an hour just waiting for him to jump on. He's like, I'm so sorry, but he showed it to me. It's an actual working model, like remote control with lights and all this crap. Yeah, it's insane.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he's a really big Star Wars nerd, and he loves astromech droids. So that everybody has their thing that they do on the side, you know, when we step out of our booths.
Oh yeah.
So first question I have for you is, what is your thing? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do when you're not narrating?
Oh boy. Okay, when I'm not narrating, I'm a huge DC Comics nerd.
Yes.
I love. I mean, I've got to catch up on my comic book reading, but I'm definitely like the DC canon. I've been playing the DC Dark Legion game on my phone a little too much.
Okay.
Any of the DC games that are out there, I'm like, it's like ridiculous, and I'm like, I've lately just been. I'm so. What's the language barrier on this podcast, by the way? The rating. Do you like to keep it family friendly, or I'm trying to double check?
I'm an old school student of George Carlin, so shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker.
Fuck yes!
Go nuts.
Awesome. Oh, we're gonna get along.
My dad played me that album when I was 12, and I'm like, my life has been, train says, I'm like, oh, these are words. Okay, cool. So yeah, whatever you want.
All this stuff. You find put the shit over here, you put the shit over here. But I'm really nerding out. I've been trying to upgrade my Cassandra Cain card because she's running out. You know, I think now she's probably gone. And I was just trying to get it. But it's like you got to go through the bleed and you got to pay your money and you got to turn or your diamonds or whatever it is, the anvils or what the fuck they call it. And, you know, hopefully you get the card. One of the so yes, that's unfortunately, you know, before bed, it's kept me up a little late. That Mortal Kombat.
The game or the shows?
The games at one point, I need to catch up on playing the new ones, but I just saw the movie, the second one. It was fun.
It was I didn't like the first one.
Very
I like
different.
The original. Different. Okay, all right.
Yeah, the second one, go see it. They've got a new screenwriter. They're really having a lot more fun, and it's definitely made with the fans in mind.
All right, good. Because the first one was, I love the original Mortal Kombat with Robin Show or Shu or whatever his name was. And then they did the reboot. I'm like, okay, it's the pandemic. They're releasing things on video. Let's check it out. It just seemed like it was trying to apply for a new audience. It didn't take the fan base that knew everything.
Yeah, and they didn't, you know, and they acknowledge that, which you see.
So being a DC fan, have you played DC versus Mortal Kombat?
Yes, I have.
All right. I love that game. It is so
great.
cool.
It was great. I thought it was very interesting how they were was it brutalities? They were, I forgot what they called it, but it was like, cause with the DC canon, they can't do it. They can't go.
Yeah.
Some of them they did. Joker, I think, if I recall correctly, he got the closest to a fatality.
Yep. But with, what's his name at the helm, with James Gunn at the helm, I think they're going to go a little dark with the new series and everything like that. I'm excited to see where he takes it.
Clayface.
That looks awesome.
I'm like,
all the Batman villains who they're going to release, it's like they're going to do Clayface, which if you ever read the books, the new books they just released, the villain that they did it, the first one that they did is like Batman Resurrection. It takes place in the Batman 89 realm. So it's right after the Joker dies.
Yeah.
Clayface comes out, how the actor became Clayface, and he resurrects the Joker as part of Hugo Strange's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's this whole big thing. And it's another thing that I love the book. I love Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan. If you could see my wall, all my shit. But it's one of those,
because you got wallpaper.
I got my thing. I'll take it off in a second. I'll show you. But it's another thing where it's like the narrator didn't quite do the book justice. And he's a great narrator. I've listened to some other things that he did, and I can't remember his name off the topic, but it's just like how important in, you know, I don't want to say our field because I do this part-time, but the narrator of a book, of a story, is so important to set the tone, where was before, you know, long ago it was books on tape. It's that's just for blind people or lazy people that don't want to read. Now it's such a huge medium where the narrator is almost as important as the writing. And a good narrator can make a bad book sound good, you know, but a bad narrator can make a good book. And it took away from it. It wasn't a Batman story for me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with who did it and everything like that. But the one thing I also always like to alert people to is the beauty of our craft is that it is so subjective. And you know, I definitely have like some books where, including these ones, you know, we'll have some people who are very, very gung-ho and love it, but then there'll be some who are like, oh, he ruined the books for me. And it's like, it comes with the territory. It comes with the job. You can't please everyone.
Yeah. I'm not sure how familiar you are or you were with Mark before you worked on this series.
Not
Okay.
a thing.
Mark has a very loyal following, and Sean Arnett has been his guy since day one.
Yeah.
So when he released this series and everybody heard Sean wasn't going to do it, it was like, I equated it to like, when they replaced Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince. People lost their frigging minds. Like, wait, Sean's not doing this? Who's this new guy? And I'm like, let's give him a chance and find out what it is, because it's not because Sean always does the Michael Talbot, and we associate Sean with Michael Talbot's voice, which is Mark's alter ego of his Zombie Fallout and the Indian Hill and all those stories. So he gave those characters where these are totally new characters. You brought these characters to life. And I was hesitant myself, and I was a little like, wait, who's this guy? Why isn't he hiring me to do this? But he doesn't have a say. But I gave you a chance, and I'm extremely happy I did, because you killed it.
Thank you.
I love Benny. I want Benny in more stories. And the way you brought their voices from childhood in the first one to post-puberty, 17, 18 in the second and third one was just like,
thank you.
Bravo, Mr. Adam. Bravo. You did it, man.
We were thinking about that. I was definitely, that was on my mind when we were going for it. And I was like actually going with, oh my goodness. Sorry, I've been recording for like I've been recording since early morning, so my brain is currently mush.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Benny. We've got
Chuck.
Chucky.
Chucky.
Chucky. Ernie. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. Why can't I remember her name? My beautiful little girl. Benny, and oh my goodness, I'm such a horrible person.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too, and I don't have my notes. I don't have notes for that book. So
I've got my notes here. I'm pulling them up. We're gonna edit all this out. So I don't look like I don't know
what it's all about. When you do this, do you write down? Going by what I do is when you have a bunch of characters to keep track of them all, I'll write down the character's name and then the type of voice that I do, like a celebrity style voice or a person that I know. Do you do something similar to that? Can you keep track of all these voices? Because it must get confusing for you.
Oh boy. Becky, hello.
Becky, yes. I don't know why I had Sarah. I kept thinking Sarah because I'm thinking Sarah Connor because she's such a badass.
It's Sarah. Yeah, Sarah Connor. It varies, and I've been doing this now for so long. I get an idea as to who these characters are, and I get a basic idea archetypally who they are, where they're going to be, where their journey is, where are they going. Of course, finding out my background is theater. I've got 2 degrees in theater. I got my undergrad in theater. I got my Master of Fine Arts in theater. I've been doing this for decades. And so character creation is something that I specifically love. And I feel like a detective whenever I'm doing this work and wanting to find out what makes the character different from the other one.
Yep.
So for example, when it came to Becky, the one thing I really latched onto was how tough she is, but also how she doesn't come across. She comes across as this little weak, but you're a typical young girl.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect to be tough and everything like that. And so when it came to people taking her for granted and really not taking her seriously.
Yeah, they underestimate her through the whole series because of her age.
And so I had to reflect that in her voice, in my opinion. And so that's why I was thinking about people that I know who've had that, who they're underestimated because of the way they look or the way they sound, especially women that I know in my life. And so I was basing it on that. And so I decided, don't play it safe. Go for a voice that really does lean into what your idea of how she would sound is. And I was going into it going, Some people are going to find it annoying. Are they going to find it? I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to lean into the voice and I'm going to focus on her intention, everything she's trying to get, how she feels. And it's not my job to worry about what the audience is going to think. This isn't about me. It's about serving the story in the best way.
No, you did it sounded awesome. I loved her voice. And like I said at the beginning, the first book was a setup and we didn't know what was going on with the story. Like, is it aliens? Is it terrorists? Like, what is it? We've had stories from Mark before. He wrote a series called The United States of Apocalypse where North Korea sets off a bomb in Yellowstone, a nuke in Yellowstone Park, and the volcano explodes. And it's a Michael Talbot book. And, you know, it's set in two different realms. One is a female and one is a male. And he had two different a female narrator and a male narrator. And of course, it was Sean, and I forget the other woman's name. I think she did the Hunger Games series. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure. But it was, you have that innocence of people in the beginning. We didn't know what this was. We had an idea. Was it aliens? Did you have any idea?
No,
do you read the books first before you do everything, or you just start going?
No, I got one. I got book one. I didn't know where book two was happening. I didn't know what was going to happen. So all I knew was I got book one, read through it, and I'm like going, okay, wait a minute. Is there a bit of an alien? Because the majority of the book, it was so realistic dystopian for me. It was there were points where it was like, it was challenging for me because it was really showing some really not so good sides of humanity, and that didn't make, for me personally, I wasn't that's not my jam. I think for me it's difficult enough. So that was challenging for me. So in a way, I was kind of thrilled when I was like, oh yes, oh yes, thank God. Because I was going, I didn't know if I could emotionally handle two more books of people trying to survive and doing horrible things to each other in order to survive, out of that need for survival, which I understand is like, you know, that's some people's jam. Once again, it's like that's not my jam. So I was very happy that we went into alien territory.
Yeah, you'd like to think that if the shit does hit the fan ever, people would come together. There are always bad actors out there. There are people that are always out for themselves and they're going to take advantage of it. And Mark is good about diving into that aspect of things and being like, son of a bitch, Tufo. Now I'm afraid of the sun. He's got books. I'm afraid of mosquitoes, aliens, zombies, nuclear war. It's like, what the hell else can you make us scared of? Yeah. And now it was, the one thing he didn't do, and I want to talk to him about this if he jumps on, he didn't talk about how the solar flares, did the aliens do anything to make the solar flares happen? Like, what was that about? It was just all of a sudden there was a solar flare. Was it because the aliens came out of whatever they did, or did they set that off intentionally? I
thought it tied into something else that he had written. So it wasn't something that I necessarily was thinking of. I was going, it's probably been explained somewhere else. And
he did do a short story called Pulse, which is one of the ones that I narrated for the podcast. But it was about bugs. It was about a gardener scientist up in Maine that just wanted to create an small EMP thing for his wife so she wouldn't get attacked by bugs while she's out in her garden. And it becomes this giant thing where he goes to patent it and the government gets involved and has to kill him because they can boost up the signal and it can kill people. So it's like, oh, okay, now we're afraid of that. So that was just called Pulse. This one's called After Pulse.
After the Pulse, yeah.
So some people think it was tied in, and he's like, no, it's just a name. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to tell people that it is, so that way we can work it all in together. Because a lot of his stories all tie in. The characters all kind of interact with one another, and kind of we call the Triptiverse, which the stoner character Trip that was on the carnival, the whip ride that gave them is it the whip ride? No, I'm thinking of the book I just read. So there was Trip, the guy that was playing all the Jerry Garcia music at the house.
Yeah.
When
that's the second.
Yeah. Al and Sophie go to Trip's house, and he's like the whole big, the commune. Trip is an actual character from his other books. Trip's massive, he's a massive stoner that is interdimensional. And he talks about it in this book a little bit, where the drugs and the weed keeps him grounded in which universe he's in, because his mind goes into the other characters in the other dimension. So sometimes he's lucid, and other times he's just, full Jim Ignatowski style, totally out of it. So when he brought when he brought the other characters from the other books in, it was okay. They're not the same voice. Vikas did a great job on it. We all hear in our heads, but it's like, oh my God, it's Trip. Oh my God, it's BT. Oh my God, it's Talbot at the airport. It was a lot of fun to work those into the story. And you did a great job with those characters, not having heard, any of that stuff before. You took it your own way. And I really like that as a listener and as a huge.
And one of the things that's really interesting about it's something that we do, when you've got multiple narrators on a book, and you may hear that person's voice of what they are doing. And even though you try to get as close as you can, you're not trying to do an imitation of their voice, because we remember how we each have our interpretation of how someone sounds. So when we're telling the story from our point of view, just us talking now, my voice for you could be something that sounds nothing like you, but it's just got enough of the quality that someone would be able to go, oh, okay. And maybe it's got the energy that, because your energy is amazing right now and it's keeping me up right because I'm like going, great, awesome. But likewise, someone for me, could do something that I'm like, that doesn't sound like me at all. What are you talking about? But to others, they'd be like, oh yeah, no, that's got a bit of you in there. Yeah. So that's the fun of it. And that also releases some of the tension about having to do, if you're doing accents and things like that, having to do a perfect accent. Because sometimes it's so easy to get so bogged down with like, I've got to do this perfect accent for this character. And within this medium, it's about remembering that you as the storyteller you're the conduit, and you are doing your interpretation. You're doing this one story, and you are doing these multiple voices. And that's something that people have to remember, as well as listeners need to remember, and allow grace for the narrator, but also allow grace for themselves to just enjoy the story and enjoy the storytelling versus, because it's understandable. There's a need to, you're protective. You're protective of the words. You're protective of the author, the story, the experience. And I have to do this for myself. I have to remind myself, you know what? Just breathe. Just listen. It's okay. Let's enjoy this. And that's for movies and everything too. I've become a much more, I'm trying to become a much more compassionate audience member, because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So.
Excellent. Couldn't have said it better. The way your style is, your regular voice, your narration voice versus your character voice, you can definitely tell the difference when you're doing them. And it really brings you into the story, where some people have listened to books and they just have the same character voice for every single character. You went deep into giving every single character their own personality, their own tone, their own everything. And like, I want to do the same thing. And when I heard you do it, I'm like, okay, good. I'm not alone in this, where am I doing too much sometimes? And I think to myself, but no, we love our craft. We love what we do. And we like acting, and we want to do it this way. And you did a great job in this series. And I've listened to, it was actually funny. I'm a big, Apple guy, and I listen to Apple News Daily and the Apple podcasts and everything. And I get the Apple narrators, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, I know that voice. Hey, even before they said narrated by Vikas Adam, I'm like, that's Vikas. That's my boy. I know that guy.
Did one this morning. It was yeah, it's great. I love it. I love those. Yeah. Oh, it's such, it feels, in order to be a part of that, it feels as though you are, you're part of what's going on in the stratosphere. And even though I have not been the one who writes those amazing articles that I get to read. It's fun. It's fun to be a part of that, where it's like I'm communicating that important information to someone, and we're connected then that way. So it's great, and it's always fun to have like my friends be like, "Oh yeah, I was listening. No, I heard you," and I'm like, "Yeah, like, you don't cough, fucker." And I'm like, "Good, well, listen to my voice on the thing." It's like I'm right there in your ears.
I'm everywhere, and it's nice sometimes to do little short things like that because it's a quick little bite. You can bust it out in a couple of hours versus a week's long or sometimes a month long project doing a 10, 12, 13, 20 hour audiobook.
Yeah.
How do you get, I'm assuming at this point in your career, they just send you work. Do you have to audition for anything, or do you have an agent that just says, I'm going to give this to Vikas? Are you part of a pool of narrators?
It's a combination. It's a combination of the two. I'm very fortunate where I'm given direct offers. But then there are some projects that will require me to audition for whatever reason. And I get it. I have no ego about it. Sometimes it's the author has final approval, or they have a choice of like 2 or 3 narrators that they need to listen to, and they want to hear how we're going to interpret the story. So that's number one. I'm like, okay, great. You're in that final pool. That's amazing. 2, I think it's great for me to be able to do that sometimes too, because then that gives me a chance to play. So I'm auditioning the material as well, because I'm going to try it out and see, can I connect with it? Because looking at the page, you're like, whatever. You can say, oh yeah, I'll connect with it, or I won't. There have actually been projects where I have been like, oh, this is going to be cool, and then I've tried to record it, and all of a sudden I will be like, I'm having a difficult time connecting with this. For some weird reason, we are on 2 different planes. It's not about the writing being bad in any way. That's not it at all. It's, it can be beautiful, wonderful writing. And for some weird reason, maybe it's where I'm at or something, we won't connect. And I'll still turn it in maybe, but I won't get it. And I'll know, like, I think you can hear it. And on the rare occasion, I've been like, you know what? I don't think I'm the right person for this. I do believe, and then I'll be like, you should really listen to, and I'll suggest someone that I feel would be great.
Yeah, that's good that you recognize that it's, some projects just aren't for you. I equate it to dating. You're dating a bunch of other authors and you're like, you know what? I just think we need to see other narrators. I think we need to see other authors. It's a good story, but it's just not for me.
And sometimes it just, and this is how it goes with acting as well. It's like you're auditioning and everything, but I can talk about this one now. The interview the Vampire Lestat, the first 3 Anne Rice books in the Vampire Chronicles.
Yeah, that was huge.
Those just came out.
Yeah.
And I initially auditioned for Louis. And I wanted Louis for Interview the Vampire. I was like, that's oh my God, I want, and we're talking a long audition process for that one. That was the longest I've ever done for anything, but it went multiple takes and multiple times. And we get to a final one, and they're like, so the estate wants, they kind of narrowed it down. But the estate wants you to take a stab at Lestat and have Dan, who was reading for Lestat, have him do Louis. And so we had to do that. And I was like, okay. And
does it bother you? Like, I'm the Vampire Lestat. I'm Tom Cruise right now.
Not at all.
Okay.
It became a holy shit, I've got to own it. For me, it would have been Louis would have been very easy to sink into. Lestat got me to a place that I've wanted to be at, but I'm uncomfortable going. It's getting into that I'm the star, I'm the rock star kind of thing. And you've always got that little bit inside, and he's he's a fun dude. He's dramatic. He's out there. He takes risks. And also I was scared. I'm still scared. The book hasn't come out yet. I'm still scared as to like, okay, we're talking about fan service here and what the fans are going to be like. And I'm like, I'm not Tom Cruise. I'm not Stuart Townsend. I'm not, was it Stuart Townsend who did it in Queen of the Damned? I believe it was, sorry. And I am definitely not Sam Reed, and they are all lovely, amazing. Their performances are their own. And I'm not Simon Vance, who's done the books. I'm not Will Patton. So this is my interpretation. This is my take on it. It's like the multiple actors who play Batman.
Right.
Actors who play Hamlet. This is a character who's got his own life. And what I really am hoping is that the fans can approach it and be like, oh, okay, this is one interpretation. I connect with it or I don't. I'll give it a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you a fan of the books before you did it? Yeah. I'm not a huge vampire guy, so I watched the movie when it came out, but I never got into the other ones, the Queen of the Damned. It's just vampires just aren't my thing. But I understand the appeal of it.
The appeal is that they are very human.
Okay.
It's at the core of it is it's about this need to be in touch with humanity and their humanity and the passion and the love and what happens with all of that. I read these when I was in high school and college, and it was so then to revisit it this time around and to revisit it with an amazing director, Gabra Zachman, who is a dear friend of mine, and for us to be able to like approach I went out to Audible Studios. I flew out and was there for a month and change.
Out in Jersey?
Out in Jersey to record these. I'm in LA. And so I was like, I need to focus on these. This is these. So it was truly an act of love, and it was a dream project, and I'm happy and thrilled. And Anne Rice was big when I was young. So
these books have been around for a while.
50 years today. This year is the 50th anniversary of Interview the Vampire.
Holy shit! It's been around that long.
And you've got anybody who likes vampires, Lost Boys, Anne Rice, Twilight, Anne Rice, fucking True Blood, Anne Rice. It's all the fucking vampire shit. The conventions, sexy vampires, sexy anything. Gay vampires, sexy vampires, queer vampires, straight vampires. You name it. It's because of Anne Rice.
Yeah,
and what she did with these. So I think and it still holds up. It's like I was reading it, I was going, whoa. And the writing is brilliant. So sorry, I could go on forever, but I'm not.
No,
I'm not here to talk about that.
No, is this a reimagining of the story, or are they doing like they do with the Harry Potters, where it's just a full audio cast type of deal?
No. It is. It's a brand new recording.
Okay.
But it's Dan Bittner has done Interview the Vampire. I'm doing Vampire Lestat, and Paul Bamer. There's a 60 page section where another character starts speaking, named Marius, and so Paul Bamer just does those 60 pages. And then for Queen of the Damned, it's multiple points of view. It's Lestat speaking in first person, and then a bunch of male characters, and then a bunch of female characters with their points of view. And we got Robin Miles to be the female narrator for that. And then I do Lestat and all the male points of view. And so it's they're true audio books in the sense, but the energy and what we're bringing to it is the energy is much more updated, a lot more contemporary versus what previous editions of the audiobooks were allowed to do, because the style of audiobooks has changed.
That's great.
The fact that we're doing voices, like the voices that you're speaking about in Mark's trilogy, in being able to do that, I would not have been allowed to go as big as I did years ago when audiobooks were really, because it used to.
No, it wasn't the same back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it now. I think it's great. I think it's so much fun. And what you did with the characters was fantastic. Who was your favorite character to voice? Like, you did a voice and you were just like, I love doing this character's voice.
I mean, Benny is such a sweetheart. I mean, him and his...
The dialogue for Benny.
God, his goddamn Joe, his stupid, the fucking up of the words.
Yep.
And the interaction, I was so happy when they became friends. My heart could not deal with what Chucky did to them at the end of book 1. Spoilers!
Oh, when he rats them out?
When he rats them out.
Yeah. But he did it from a place of he's alone and he didn't want to be alone. And you find out why. That's the joy of Mark's writing. He makes you feel bad for the bully because you find out why he's a bully. He's a bully because he's lonely and he's sad. And he just wants friends,
I loved Ernie.
Mm-hmm.
It was Ernie, right?
Yeah. The chef, bus driver.
Yeah. I'm not picking characters up. Loved him, but I really loved that core. I mean, Al, how could you not love Al? I mean, I also appreciated Al because, I got to speak in my Canadian for him. So it's got to get back in touch. Because usually whenever I'm recording, I'm so dialed into my American, being able to speak like an American with accent wise, that even my usual, stories and, my about and stuff like, and process and progress, I Americanize it when I'm reading. So for that, I actually had to keep mentally be like, okay, remember, if you're seeing this word, you got to pronounce it the way you normally would. And I told my engineer as well, I was like, dude, I need you to call me out on this if I don't sound Canuck enough.
You did. You definitely had the slight Canadian accent. So I was reading, I did a deep dive on AI on your bio that you are, you're Indian, you're from Canada, and you moved to America. So you consider yourself an Indo-Canarican? Indo-Canarican. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's been a lovely journey. I mean, I was born in Canada and moved around a lot, but have been in America now for most of my life. And it was funny because I'm born around my birthday's July 2nd and Canada Day is July 1st, so it always sucked growing up. So when we moved to America, I was like, yes, suck it. And then of course I show up and because I was like, no one could come to my parties. No one would come to my birthday party because they'd be out of town for Canada Day. So we're moving over here and I'm like, oh yes. And of course, you're a kid and you're like going, oh fuck.
But there's fireworks every year on near your birthday, Yeah,
but I wasn't one of those kids who could trick myself into going, oh, the fireworks are for me.
Yeah. It's like kids that are born in December. It's like, you're screwed. You get Christmas and birthday. That's it. Thank you very much.
That perspective was provided to me when my sister was born. Because she's a December baby. And it was like, yeah, could be worse. Okay.
How long have you been doing voice acting? I mean, you said you went to college, you have a degree in it, but did you start right away afterwards? Or were you fortunate enough to do this? Or were you day job, hoofing it type of thing?
Oh man, when I went to school in the 1900s. And
it makes it sound so long ago.
It is, right?
Yeah. I was a century ago. I was in school.
I was in school a century ago. Then I love it. Then when my kids, I've had some kids who are like, I'll say something and they'll be like, "How old are you?" And I'm going.
Yeah, the 90s is like 30 years ago. I still think, I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so I still think the 80s, like that's like 10, 20 years ago. Like, no, I've been out of high school for 35 years this year. And I'm like, holy shit, really?
Yep. So I went to college, and and I got my first chance to do voiceovers there. Student animated stuff. First audiobooks. It was like full cast audio stuff from Bruce Koval, who's a children's author, and he started the company Full Cast Audio. He started Listening Library, and Full Cast Audio, and he would have a full cast of us there. And this is back in the old days when we are all in the same room, and they're recording reel to reel. Like you've got the tape going. And
that's old school.
Very old school. Oh my goodness.
We got a party crasher, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. I'm on my iPad, man. I mean, this might come as a shock, but I forgot.
I told you. I told him the R2D2 story before when you were going to jump on and you were working on the R2 and like, oh shit, I forgot. Can we do this now? So...
How's it going, Mark? Nice to meet you officially.
Nice to meet you too, man. How you doing?
I'm good. We're just having a wonderful conversation about the 1900s.
Please don't say it like that.
Right?
My students say it all the time like that. My college students, and I'm like just going, and it hits me that there was a time when my college, because I've been teaching at the collegiate level now for 15 years. And there was a time when they were born in the 19.
Yeah.
And now it's like, nope. And you get each significant milestone. It gets further and further. You can't refer to it because they're like, I wasn't even born.
It's like when you go to a bar or something and they got the Budweiser sign and says, must be born before this date to be served alcohol. And you're like, it says 2005 or something, like whatever it is. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was funny. I was just writing a scene about the Red Sox winning the series. And then it was like 2004. I was like,
yeah.
Are you kidding me right now?
How long ago that was?
Oh, my friggin' word.
So you were telling me about your day job before you started doing voice acting.
Well, that was college. And my day job, I've done everything. It was like, I was a manager of a movie theater back, when movie theaters, like a sixplex. I was teaching a lot of after school theater. And teaching, and I ended up moving into nonprofit youth arts, and I was also a social worker.
Okay. Lordy.
And I worked in sexual assault awareness education, and I also worked in court ordered supervised visitation, and so it was pretty, but it was it was all. And of course, I was an obligatory barista. That was.
And the barista paid the best, didn't it?
Probably.
I wish. Please, no. But nonprofit youth arts. It was that was like my official. And I was doing theater, and at night. It was a great setup. I mean, and then I moved out to LA. I went to grad school. To get my MFA, and I thought, oh great, I've done the real world thing. It's going to be fine. Once I get out, I've got all these skills. I can go back. Nothing.
No. Well, everybody out in LA wants to be in acting or theater or whatever. It's you're a tiny fish in a huge ass pond.
No. But what I mean is, I was thinking, because I worked in nonprofit youth, I have skills, real world skills. I could get some teaching gigs. I could do. I could work in another nonprofit. I could do some social work. Whatever. All my none of that panned out. I was literally working part-time for a startup company that sold cooking salts at a farmer's market. So I'd be like setting up the tent every weekend, humbling work. Loved the people I worked with. They were wonderful. It was great. But then the audition for Audible came about, and I went ahead and I auditioned, and 2 weeks later, I had my first book, and then work begat work. It was a slow build, there were weeks in between. But yeah, there came a point where I got a book where it was going to be a 50 finished hour book. So that was a book that was like, all right, you either choose, and there was no downtime. I had to I had no time to really prep it. They were like, we need to start recording this immediately.
Yeah.
So I went to my friend who was my boss for this cooking salts thing. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. This is like going to be a nice paycheck and everything. He was like, dude, you didn't go to school to fucking sell cooking salts at a farmer's market.
You didn't go to farmer's market selling salts degree?
Yeah, no. Actually, he called himself a certified salt advisor.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. But and so that was the thing. And after that, I went full time on just focusing on audiobooks. Of course, acting and things like that. But as the years have progressed, it's been more about voiceover, and of course teaching at UCLA. So, which is I love it.
Good for you.
Dude, without naming names, and obviously not mine, have you ever got a book and been like, oh my gosh, I have to read this thing?
We were just talking about that, Mark.
Yeah,
he said that.
But there are, and then there are books. No, but there are books that I don't feel I connect with as much. And it's always going to happen. There's always, I think it's part of it. But what I make sure that I do, but guess what? You're an actor. You're fucking auditioning for a camera thing. Those are so few and far. You get this one show that you're like, I should be doing. Sigourney Weaver has said, she was like, I'm sorry, Alien? Yeah. You want me to do Alien? I went to Yale. And this is back in, it's like, I want to be doing Shakespeare. I want to be doing theater. So, yeah, we always do. But then what sets apart, I think, the true professional is the one who can take that material and treat it like it's Shakespeare, and then treat it like it is the most important piece of literature you're going to read, whether you connect with it or not. And that is what's the biggest difference for me, because then I actually have an investment in the material as well.
Nice. Jeff, he didn't say my book, did he?
He did. No. He said at the beginning, he's like, I got the first book. I was like, what the hell is this dribble I got myself involved in? And like, join the club, buddy, but it's just the way it is.
My God, the amount of times I yelled, Tufo!
Oh, everybody has. Con!
Yeah.
And that's normally what happens at my house right now.
Yeah. What I did say that you missed is I was going at the end of book one, because I didn't get book two until after I'd finished recording this. I was going, oh my God, these people are horrible to each other. Oh my God, I don't know if I can deal with two more books of the people treating each other horribly like this. And so when the aliens showed up, I was going, yes, there's aliens.
Thank God for aliens.
I was just the grocery the dystopian stuff. It was traumatizing for me.
I know. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you like to mess with us.
Stuff.
Yeah,
the grocery store stuff. All the people not helping each other out, but instead going kill or be killed. Survival of the fittest. That is what in book it tore my heart. So I was very happy that we had aliens who were tearing down our hearts instead of each other.
Take the attention away. Did you intend it to be like that, Mark, the whole time? Like the first book was a long setup to get to where it was. Yeah, we didn't know what it was until we got to the end. We're like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Oh shit, aliens. Awesome.
Yeah. Honestly, I meant to have the 3 books be heart tearing out, people just being the worst versions of themselves. And then I was like, I finished the first book and I was like, boy, that's a lot of, I was with Mike because I was like, that's a lot of that. Maybe we should turn this ship, do a little, 90-degree left-hand turn in Albuquerque or something, so that's what I did.
Yeah, it definitely, book 1 to book 2 is definitely totally different tones. When I listened to it, I was like, wait, did I miss something? Is there something in between? Did I not listen to totally to the end? Because now it's, several years later and everybody's together and kind of, the army is there and the military and they're doing their whole thing. But it was great. I mean, I was telling Vikas at the beginning, this is one of my favorite series that you wrote. And I'm mad at you for it only being a trilogy, but we've heard from you before. I'm only going to do 3 books. And, 25 zombie fallouts later.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you in for the ride, Dave? You think you get 25 in you?
I'm in, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like,
if the checks don't bounce, why not, baby? Let's do it.
If Audible is like sending me to the same studio, we got our same team on it, I'm always like, yeah, because there's the consistency is what's lovely.
How did you guys find each other? Was it Audible? Audible said it? No, Mark, you have a deal with Audible, right? Because on your books, on the audio thing, it's got the little blue line that says Audible exclusive.
Yes. What? Yeah, was there a question there?
Kind of, yeah. I think I answered my question in the middle of it, but the yes is a good answer. You're a writer, so that was a good answer. But yeah, so how long have you had your deal with Audible?
Me,
you first, Mark, yes.
Boy, it's long, about 8 years, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And Vikas, how long have you had you don't just do Audible, because obviously you do other things, but Audible you're in Audible stable of horses.
I feel Audible is very, very dear to my heart because they're the ones who they discovered me years later, after doing the stuff that I did in college. But they gave me a crack at it with the first books, and they're like a family to me. So I love Audible, but at the same time, I freelance. I work with a lot of publishers, platforms. And what's funny is we were talking about, I got this because when I was there doing the Vampire Chronicles, the Anne Rice ones, that's when I was talking with the producer, Kat Jackson, about it. And she was like, how would you feel about this book? I think that this trilogy, I think that you would be excellent for it. And I was like, I trust you. You know me. You know what I'm capable of. You looked at it. If you think that I will do anything for you. So.
Yeah, they did. They sent us a list of narrators, and I'll be honest, your voice came through, the tone I was looking for. My wife and I sat down and we were like, yep, that's the dude. So
thank you. So yeah, it was simpatico. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it works. Yeah,
it works out.
Yeah.
Let me look up simpatico.
My brain. I was telling you, my brain is mush. I've been recording for like all day. With all sorts of like different like words to have to look up and at the last minute and pronunciations and yeah. So it's just like, but wait a minute. If you ever wanted to doubt your ability to know the English language, become a narrator, because just when you think that you're like, oh, wait a minute, what did I use that word correctly? Did I pronounce that word correctly?
I want to say thank heavens for the translate feature on my iPad, because I read everything off my iPad when I do it, and I will hit that translate and I will find out what a word says, and I'm like, is that the actual meaning of the word, or is that the actual pronunciation of the word? But it's horrible. Do you find yourself with like, how do you pronounce names in characters in, there's been an ongoing thing with Mark's stories where there's a character Drababon that Sean said Drababan, and it's like Mark never corrected him from day one, and it goes through it as Drababan. And then when I started the podcast, Mark came on as like, it's actually pronounced Drababon when I did the character's name. Have you ever had an instance like that where an author's come back to you and said, you're saying the name wrong, jackass, it's this instead of this?
That there's I think there was one. I was saying it was Levon, and I was like going Levin, and then I ended up being told later on, it's like, no, it's Levon, and I was like, oh well, fuck my life. And
do you go back and change it, or did you have the ability to do that?
That's what the author, if that's what the author wants, that's what we did.
Yeah,
but it was most of the time. Most of the time now, it's like I think authors are queried is there any specific notes? Are there like character names that we need to be aware of? And certain ones, obviously, you'll get them, and they will say, the author will be like, I definitely want these character names like this. I've got some authors who are like, go for it, do your thing. And I will then pronounce it the way that comes easiest for me, the way I see it. And then I will also make sure that we have a marker and we have a copy of that, because then if another book comes along 2 books later and this fucking name comes up again, I want to be pronouncing it the way I did.
Yeah.
Because I am that fan. I am that fucker who will be like, wait a minute, they pronounced it this way in this book, but now they're pronouncing it this. So yeah.
Okay. I got a question. So when you're doing, there's a cast of like 3 or 4 people, and you're changing how you narrate each person. Do you read like all, say, Becky's lines and then come back and you switch it as you're going?
The 1-person show.
Oh my word! That's incredible.
It's so much fun, because that's where it's like, it is a 1-person show. I'm acting against myself, and that is something where I'm always trying to have new narrators, as well as my students, my acting students. When we come to this part of the class, I'm like, stop trying to sound pretty, stop trying to whatever. It's your fucking scene. What are they fucking? Let's go back to acting 101. This is what you're doing. Talk to each other. Only the thing is, you're doing it by yourself. So the best part is, what your scene partner is gonna do.
Yeah.
So
no, you do a great job at it, because you take that little extra pregnant pause in between the narration versus the dialogue. And you take just a slight bit more than a lot of other narrators that I've heard, but you give each character their own voice, their own identity.
Yeah.
And that's what was great that you brought into this series. You could come in at any point and exactly which character is talking without you having to say, like, oh my God, Benny said, no, Sucky Chucky, said Daffodil, or whatever the girl's name was. We just forgot her name again. Becky.
Becky.
Something like that. Like, who is saying what based of who your voice is. Like, I heard Al at the beginning, at the end of the second book, and I was like, oh wait, that's Al. I know that character's voice no matter what. And he didn't have to say that it was Al when they were in the stairway up top. You knew automatically that's what it was. So
thank you.
You did your job.
Amazing. Yes.
Not for nothing. Not for nothing. It's Becky.
It's a hard one.
Next book.
Yeah.
The next book. And of course, what I say to that is, Tufo.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. Mark, let's say this is just a conversation between you and me, and Vikas is not here. How close did he get to telling your story and narrating your story? When you write it, you have certain characters in your head. You have certain voices in your head as you're writing, and you think this character's going to sound like this and he's going to be like this. How close did he get to nailing, or were there some characters he was like, Drababon, Drababon type of thing?
Now, this is a tough question to answer, because I'm having the conversation in my head. I cannot imagine what he's doing. Being able to verbalize it on the fly just blows me away. So honestly, as he's reading it, that's how I'm seeing it, So, he gave it life as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so you don't hear, like, you didn't have Benny in your head as a certain way. And then when you heard it, you're like, oh, that's Benny. Awesome. He gave it that thing. Or do you even listen to it because you're so busy?
He brought him to life because, like I said, I mean, it's all internal for me. So there is no voice for the most part.
Gotcha. Okay. So for those of us that are new to the podcast and are listening or watching, and you're hearing what sounds like Darth Vader in the background, can you please show the gorgeous pup laying on the ground with the deviated septum that will not leave your sight while you do an interview?
Where
is she?
Here, come here. Where?
Oh, Chloe.
Oh,
He's got 3 bulldogs.
little girl. Oh man.
Yeah. So every time we talk to Mark, the dogs have to be in where he is. And is it Chloe or Holly that if you stop petting her, she gets upset?
That's Chloe. And Chloe, what's funny is she's deaf. So I think she's extra loud because of that fact. Like she has no idea how volume she is.
Oh, it's great.
No, I've got my little girl who's I didn't bring her up. She's probably out on a walk right now. But she's this little Shih Tzu Bichon mix, and she's the biggest princess you will ever meet.
That's great.
Sorry, one of my dogs has to go out, so that's why I'm
no. Do your thing. We're getting a tour of Casa Tufo. There.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. How is Black Fly season treating you, Mark?
Oh, it sucks. I've already got tagged a few times.
Really? What kind of bugs do you have out there in LA, Vikas, that you have to worry about?
Pollen.
Okay. We have that here too.
Yeah, no, it's really bad out here. And that's what makes I'm still like all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is on medication and, doing every trick in the book, the nasal irrigations and things like that. What we do also have, if you talk about bugs, you're walking out and you may have heard of this, but there are trees that have, they have pollen and it smells like spunk.
Ooh.
People actually talk about the cum smelling trees. And
Nice.
you're literally walking around, you're like,
someone jerking off? What the hell is going on here? All right, Mark, you got to work that into your next book.
I'm already sitting there thinking of a scene. I just want you to know that.
the cum smelling trees.
Yeah, that's the next book, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
here's
actually, that's the main character. That's the short story that Jeff is going to do now.
Yeah.
From the viewpoint of this tree.
Sweetie Pie.
Oh my goodness.
Is that Holly?
One?
Yeah, that's Holly.
That's Holly. How is she doing with the medication and everything you got with her?
She had surgery last week, so she's doing pretty good.
Good.
Oh, sweet little girl.
And where is the magnificent beast, Norman? Is he upstairs?
No, he's downstairs sleeping.
He's downstairs sleeping. So he's got they're English bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 English bulldogs. And they're all you didn't bring them into this realm. Usually in Mark's books, the dogs have a part. Between Henry and Chloe and Ben and all of them, they usually come into the stories. You didn't really put the animals in this one. What was that decision for, Mark?
I think we had a cat and a
you had murder mittens.
Murder mittens, yeah.
Yeah, for a minute. Yeah, I meant to bring that cat back in more. But
everybody loves a good animal.
The name. I love the name.
Murder Mittens is fantastic.
Murder Mittens was because that was Becky. Was that Becky's cat? That was Becky's.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that you know what made I'm sorry, I know we're talking spoilers and all that sort of stuff.
No, we spoil it. People know that when they watch this that it's all spoilers.
Sorry, spoiler, but I'm going to say the one thing, Mark, I am so grateful for is that we got Becky's dad back.
Yes.
I was going to that's where I was going to be angry with you if he did not show back. If he had just died, I was like, no. So I was so grateful that we got the reunion and we had them reunite because I was just going, she needs it. Please give her a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about going from adolescence to full-blown adulthood. These kids evolved very fast.
And kick ass, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was yelling at my radio when I thought Benny was going to die. And I was like, you son of a bitch, Tufo!
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you fucking dare kill off Benny. You will have a revolt on your hands.
Yeah, no, none of them. I thought, I was like not happy, but because I knew I was like going to go, oh, something's going to happen. The trio, they're not gonna be able to be I've been recording these for a while, so I start to figure out every type of scenario that could possibly happen with characters, in order to pull at the heartstrings or to shred us. And so I was going, okay, this trio, I don't know if they're going to be able to be together. I don't know if they're going to be together. And I was so scared one of them was going to pass. And yes, I had the moment where Benny was, and I was Tufo, and then the way you handled it with Chuck. And then I was like, oh, they get separated. But, oh, shit, we get this reuniting by AOL or something like that. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. Did you write that? Did you know that when you were writing? So when you write something, are you just writing frivolously, like, the monkey on the keyboard and just, you're going to write Shakespeare eventually someday? Or do you have a to Z plan when you write, I'm going to start here and I'm going to end up here and I'm going to write what happens in the middle? Or are you writing as you go?
I've got a broad sense of where I want to go, but it's not generally A to Z. It's more like A to D, then D to C, and, C to F. And eventually we get to Z. But yeah, we need Flight of the Bumblebee to get there.
Did you mean to bring back Benny, or were you like, wait, people are going to be pissed? Because you have a tendency to kill off popular characters, Mark. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's done some big ones where you're like, son of a bitch, really? Tufo. Yeah. Trip.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Bear. All the characters you've killed off. Was that
I didn't want to put Becky through that, I guess, if I'm being honest. It was never in my head to let him die. Let's put it that way. I didn't come back off the edge. No, save his ass. He was never going to die as far as I was concerned.
Okay, good. And Chuck, the unreluctant hero, well, not unreluctant, but unsuspecting hero kind of the series at the end, where he kind of sacrifices himself. And, I thought Chuck was going to die. And I'm like, no, he's just doing his thing. And he what he felt for Becky and Benny, where they started off in the beginning to where they ended up. And it's just like, this is Chuck's redemption for all the shit he put them through their entire life. And it was just like, Chuck is the man, and you kind of wanted to see him get it on with Sophie. Yeah. I'm like, oh, come on, Chuck. You can do it, buddy. You can do it.
It was all great. Off screen.
Yeah.
It was good writing his redemption story for sure. His arc.
Yeah. So this series is done. Right. You didn't leave. You left it open at the end a little bit to be like, I can do it. Maybe. You haven't used the term stuck the landing yet with this series.
No. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It's probably done. I just started to get some new series going on and I haven't even thought about that one since I dropped it off my desk.
How long does it take you to write these?
Yeah.
Start to finish, from the blank cursor to off my desk, it's probably 6 months.
For the
Are you only working on one at a time, or do you work on multiple?
I used to do multiple, but that kind of gets brain fog, and then I'll go back and forth. I'm like, what's happening here? Why do these sound similar? I probably shouldn't do this anymore. So no, it's one at a time.
6 months per book, or 6 months for the whole trilogy?
Per book.
Okay, that's how many hours a day do you write?
Oh gosh, good 17, 18 minutes anyway.
And Vikas, how long do you narrate for? How long are you sitting in your little booth for during the? Because you have to, you got to take breaks while you're doing this, otherwise you'd be brain fried, I'm sure.
Well, it depends. It depends on the book.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, as I said, the connection is so there, I'm able to like be in here and I'm recording, or wherever I'm at. I'm at multiple studios as well. But these books, we basically did them in like 5 days for each book.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was. You average, you get an idea of what the finished time is going to be. Mm-hmm. So we guesstimate. Actually, I think it was a little longer, but you guesstimate. Just say average book 10 hours, 10 finished hours, and if you average that, you're going to get 2 finished hours per day, 2 finished hours of recorded time a day. Then you just, calculate it that way and divide. So it's like 5 days if we think it's going to be 10 hours. But then sometimes you end up getting more time, and so it takes less days, or sometimes it takes more, and you're like, okay, we need an extra day in the studio.
Wow.
How long does it take how long does it take to get those 2 recorded hours?
Usually once again, it depends on the book. There are some where it just, the writing, everything, it just flows, and you're so dialed in and you're connected and you're able. And so I say 2 as an average of the day, but I'm talking, that's like a 6-hour session, but that includes lunch, that includes, your breaks. And sometimes some of us take long breaks. Some of us take a nap in between. Yeah. And you're warming, you're redoing your voice, you're doing all that sort of stuff, and sometimes you get more. There's some narrators who can get like 3 finished hours a day, and I'm like, that's amazing. And there have been it depends on the book. I literally have done a book where I've connected with it so much, I've been able to get 5 finished hours in one day.
Wow,
that's rare.
So for people that don't understand what a finished hour is, when you read a book, you think the book is, you see it on Audible, it's 10 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Usually multiply that by 3 is how long it takes to read it, because you have to read it first, get the idea, and then the character tone and the narration, and then you go and you read it. So there have been times I've been down here for 2 or 3 hours in my studio, and I get like 1 chapter done, and my wife will be like, "That's all you got done?" I'm like, but yeah, it's something totally different. So a finished hour is an hour of the book, but it could take sometimes 2 to 3 to 4 hours to do 1 hour's worth of narration, if that makes sense to people.
I mean, and there's so many factors that are involved. I mean, is it a slow, meditative book? Where it's like it moves at a slower pace because you're supposed to digest, and it requires a slower read? Is it a more of a thriller? Are there accents involved? How much dialogue? How much switching are you doing? We talked about the Anne Rice books. That one was with the lush writing, the beautiful writing, the character voices, which were also, we created a voice for Lestat, and he's narrating. So to do his character voice, and then to go back in time and do a thicker French accent for him and his mom, and then going back to his voice just to say, she said.
Yeah.
And that all throws you off. So that's going to get you less time. So it really does depend. And then, of course, sometimes you're doing romance. We've got a joke. Me and one of my engineers that I work with, we're like going, oh my God, we're so tired. Okay, great. We've only got 2 chapters. Super quick, yes. And I forgot that one of those chapters was a sex scene. And so I said to him, I was going, damn it, it's a sex scene. Because that requires a slower read.
Yeah.
Because it's about, discovery and emotions and all, and it's part of the joy of that scene. So you take your time, and so of course we didn't get out when we wanted to. It took us another hour.
Happens. Is there any type of genre or any type of thing that you wouldn't do? Like if you looked at it, you went, you know what, this just isn't my thing. You know, I'm not into dinosaur erotic fiction or anything like that. And I say that. You like the way I worked that in, Mark?
Honestly, I would love to. I want to do a Chuck Tingle book.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah!
Is that your pen name, Mark? Is it Chuck Tingle? So Mark does dinosaur erotic fiction. We think he hasn't said yes or no, but he has hinted toward it on this show, and he has a pen name, and we don't know what it is. And I'm like, is it BJ Slippy? Is it Chest Hungwell? But this one sounds like it might be close to you. You know,
the stuff that I'm actually pretty open. I love to say I'm genre fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I love jumping genres. It keeps things fresh for me. I don't get bored or get a sense of ennui, and everything is always fresh and new. However, I'm not a fan of really, really, really like dark. I'm not a fan of sexual violence. Unless, you know, I'm not a fan of sexual violence. And that's a genre that there is, where it's a fantasy type of, and I'm like, I don't know if that's for me. But also in general, I'm not a fan of where people are, it's just violence and it's just really inhumane. There's almost a trauma porn element to it, where it's just a torture porn element to it. That's not my. That's where I kind of have to.
That's where you draw the line. Yeah, I'll totally understand. I mean, the world's got enough bullshit in it anyway. Yeah. We do this as kind of an escape from reality. You don't want to bring total reality in. You don't want to feel worse when you come out of the booth than when you went into it.
And that's me. That's, once again, it's not a judgment on anybody who does, because once again, there are people, you know, as we know, a lot of people enjoy, they talk about feeling relaxed, and something to relax that they love to do is listen to true crime podcasts. That's not how I am, but I know so many people who do that, and I'm like, that's amazing. I'm so happy you can do that. My sister's one.
Have you ever had a book that after you had done, you're like, I need a vacation. I need a break. That was a heavy, heavy story. Like Mark's got the Spirit Clearing, where after he has said that he needed to step away for a little bit because it was such a heavy story to write. Yep. Have you ever had anything like that you narrated? You were like, holy shit. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, this one, it's funny. I just thought of this right now. It's a beautiful book called The Museum of Failures by Triti Umragar. And it's about a guy who goes to see his mom. They're estranged, and it's mainly third person, if I recall. Yeah, it's third person. So I'm doing all that, but then there is a little section in there where he goes into first person, and it's the mom's point of view. Mm-hmm. And initially, they were going to cast a separate narrator for it, but they asked me, "Could you just audition? What would you do with this?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I auditioned for mom, first person, and they went ahead and do the whole book. We loved it. And what we did was her side of the story was so challenging, and there was so much heartache and pain, and it wasn't trauma, and it wasn't trauma porn, but it was realistic. But in order to get it was being able to act. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. And we saved that for last. Actually, that was the one time we did things out of order. We were like, we recorded all that other stuff, and then we came to this, and we were like, can we do this last? And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it last. Let's put it out of order. And we spent a whole day on this section that was probably a third of what we would have normally done in a day, but we gave it the whole day because there was so much pain, and it gave me an opportunity to really be able to reset. And it was amazing. It was great. And so that was a book where I was like, I finished and I was like, I'm proud of this. I'm happy, but I'm ready to release them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talk about the actor does take on a we when I was doing stage work a lot more often, and I was doing a lot of stage combat, loved the stage combat, and I was going, we're all safe, all good, but I'd be like talking to my doctor, my chiropractor, be like, you know what, I'm feeling a little, that's weird. And they're like, well, you do know that when you're doing this, the stage violence, even though it's fake, even though it's, you know you're safe, you are safe, I'm not seeing any injuries from that, your body takes a shadow of that violence.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're doing this kind of work as well, and there's like any kind of emotional component, we are taking that on because we are connecting to the words that you have given us. And so I think it's important for the actor, the performer, to be able to, and same I think with the writer, as you mentioned, you needed a vacation. We're channeling. We gotta let it go.
Yeah, you gotta reset afterwards, you know.
Which is book 3, I think.
Oh, hey, reset. Here we go.
Wow.
Do you have anything that you do? And same question for you, Mark. After you finish a book, do you have anything that you do kind of like a tradition? When I finish a book, me and Mary will go down to Foxwoods and go to Hell's Kitchen and get a bottle of champagne. And, we'll have dinner and we'll just kind of celebrate a little bit. I don't do as much, I'm sure if I did, a book a week, we'd be broke and we wouldn't be able to afford that. So it's a little easier for us to do that. But do you have anything, like a Paul Sheldon type of thing where you have a cigarette at the end and that's the only time you smoke, or anything like that? Any little traditions that you have to celebrate a completion of a book? Oh boy. Who's fighting?
Activity going on.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't, honestly, I just maybe finish the book and I'll go for a walk and just clear the old noggin out. But no big celebration. No,
you don't buy a new astromech droid or anything like that?
I do that all the time anyway.
Vikas, what about you? Any special things that you do, or?
I'm very fortunate that I'm basically doing a book a week. So I don't, but there are certain books where, for example, Museum of Failures, if it had a visceral effect on me,
mm-hmm.
I'll definitely like take the night off. I'll do my woo-woo things, whatever. It varies. Everything is different. And so I'll just check in with myself to see what do I need to be able to release this and be open and clear for the next project.
Get yourself ready,
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. It was great to meet you finally, Vikas, and get to know you. And your narration style. A book I just finished, I kind of took your soft narration tone into the last book that I did. Because I'm like, he's got a very nice, pleasant tone to his voice. Like you can listen to it all day. It's not harsh. It's not too, I come from a radio background. So when I started off, everything was very fast and, hey, call it number 9. And when I did the book for Mark, the parent plague, he's like, slow down. I'm like, okay,
it can be kind of zen.
Yeah,
it can be some. Yeah, it's no, it's like, it's funny. I'm like, thank you. Tell my partner that, because I'm like, he hasn't listened to anything I've done yet, and I'm like going.
They never do.
They never do.
No, my wife doesn't listen to. I don't think she's listened to any of my music that I've done, or, she'll want to know what I did downstairs. But I think it's just to see if I'm not watching porn down in the studio all day. She's like, oh, let me hear some of what you did. And then after like 3 seconds, she's like, okay, I know he wasn't just playing video games, or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy hasn't read one of my books in a decade.
No.
She
just collects the check, and it's like, all right. They're working. That's all that matters,
Yeah,
So
everyone always asks Marjorie, "Oh yeah, what's his favorite book that you've listened to?" And he's like, "I haven't." I'm like, "Thanks." There was one book. No, there was one book. He was actually like, I was like, "Oh," he's like, "What about this this book, this looks, and it was like this romance. They're like, oh, awesome. And I see him, he's reading it on his computer. He wouldn't even listen to it. He chose to read it on his fucking laptop.
Read along with it. You know, like when you're a kid, you got the little record player in the book, you're reading along with it. Do that at least.
Yeah, at least do that. Make me feel better. No, he was just like, nope, I'm going to do it this way.
I'm going to read it in my own voice. Screw his. Listen to you all the time.
Yeah.
So...
Thank
all
you.
right. Hey, thank you. It was great. I hope we get to do this again with the next series or anything. And, you know, Mark, as always, it is great to see you, buddy. And are we getting together Juneteenth weekend? Have you talked to the missus? Are we doing lunch, dinner?
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. We'll figure something out. So,
all right. I assume you all are in the same town then.
Come on up to Maine. We're going to meet up in Maine. Field trip, you know?
Brilliant.
Do it.
Awesome. I'll see you.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you guys both so much.
Peace.
You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.